And there we go. Already into the prologue. Oh boy. In case you're living under a rock and you don't know what the hottest speed game is, this is Celeste, and it's basically a work of art in all forms. The main controls are jumping, climbing, and dashing. That's it. There's nothing more, nothing less. Of course, we can use those controls in different methods, different elements that'll help. Oh, ooh, faceeter. Okay, he just died in prologue. No biggie, no biggie. We're good. That is very unfortunate. Okay, I feel really bad now. It's okay. It's okay. But once you pass seemingly the hardest chapter in the game, the prologue, you'll be heading into Forsaken City, first chapter of the game. Alright, apologies for that delay. We're still in Forsaken City. I do apologize for that, but we didn't miss out too much action. The first chapter is essentially a playground for all of our newfound dash mechanic that we discovered in the prologue. Sefi is going to take the lead out of City, but faceeter. Oh, yeah, there tries the charm on that wall bounce. To explain a bit of the attack, we got hyper dashing, jump dashing, wave dashing. Most of these involve dashing and then going down, dashing down into the ground and then jumping of some sort, and you get a lot of speed. Here Sefi is gonna perform currently the only allowed glitch in the run. When you skip a cutscene, you keep your vertical position, and you get put in the set X position, so you actually get stuck in that dream block. Pretty nifty. And faceeter, struggling a bit on the first two chapters, and I don't mean City and Old Site, I mean City and Prologue, so really gotta hand it to this man for staying strong. I would have reset right now. I don't care if it's a race, you know? But Sefi so far, entering the battle line section. The battle line section is where your other side, your evil side, your Goth GF battle line will chase you down at a 3-second delay. For our speedrunners, this shouldn't be such a problem because why would we go to where we were 3 seconds ago? We're so fast that doesn't even matter. Sefi is entering probably the most important room of the section while Face is entering it. So but Sefi looks to be cleaning that room out with ease. And again, these dream blocks for right now, we should only see our players jump out of them. You of course do get your dash when you exit them, so we could see a hyper dash. However, I wouldn't see that from this level of play nor this section of the game. But speaking of hard things, we got Awake, and Awake is a very movement-intensive section of Old Site. Sefi is not showing us too much of that, but I have faith. He's gonna finish out strong. Those springs, boing, bounce her right up. think Face there actually just died. This is a really bad room to die on, by the way. And he's already been through a lot, so we're gonna hope he finishes out cleanly this time. Wonderfully done. Now, into Chapter 3, Celestial Resort. This chapter features cycles via dust bunnies. These creatures will rotate around and all that. The most noteworthy thing about them, most noteworthy thing, I really can't speak, is that when you enter the room, the bunnies will have a different cycle from if you just died and respawned in the room. So because of this, you might see runners intentionally like re-enter a room if they mess up, something like that, or take it more slowly if they die. Shenanigans like that. And there's Face, finally getting the better of Old Sight. We'll see him joining Sefi in Resort. It's a nice corner boost from Sefi. If you don't know what a corner boost is, we use them scarcely throughout the run. If you have momentum and you wall climb off of the top 3 pixels of a corner, then you'll get boosted off of it. You'll actually get a boost of speed, not only maintaining your speed, but gaining to it. And they look really cool, but they're also really precise to do. There are a few good ones that have decent setups, but some just kind of happen. And Sefi here is going to be entering Huge Mess. And as you see, he's shown us that it's a huge mess to move through, quite literally. But during this section, you have 3 subsections you kind of have to enter where you hit buttons that clean up the middle room. And you need to clean up the middle room to progress. You can tackle these subsections these subsections of the huge mess in any order that you please. However, we should see our runners doing them in the same order because you'll pop out closest to Oshiro, which of course is faster. And I don't know if you guys know, but this is actually a speedrun, I think. I don't know. Not positive on that one. There's Oshiro. We'll say goodbye to him again. We'll see him later. Sefi so far moving through Huge Mess quite nicely. Don't want to jinx him, but Face will show us here his skills as he heads into that bottom portion. It's also worth noting, I never talked about what a spike jump was. That's a dust bunny jump. That's not a thing, Face. You can't do that to me. Oh, we'll look at it later. Oh, geez, Face, I'm sorry. Oh, geez. Sefi's killing the washing machine section, however. He's just absolutely destroying it. Alright, here's a spike jump for Face's screen. Beautiful, first try. Spikes won't hurt you if you come from behind them. That might sound like a weird concept if you've never played the game before. However, if you've played any of the game's B or C sides, it makes a lot of sense. So because of that, we jump on the wall from behind the spikes, and then jump off of it. Pretty simple. Yeah, Sefi there. I was talking about that. He finished up the huge mess section, and while he might struggle with the movement a little bit, his hands are clean going into the shaft. The elevator shaft, if you so will. And Sefi soon entering the quad hyper room, by far one of the coolest rooms in the game. You just 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, first try, very nicely done. At the end of that room, we actually retry to get back to the start of the room. If you pick up a key and you retry, you actually do hold on to that key. The key stays with you until you use the door. It stays through death. So it's actually faster to do that rather than backtracking to the room, into the start of the room. Now Sefi, you're taking the lead. He gets the honor of showing us the Oshiro section. Oshiro, the hotel manager that we helped clean up. We helped clean out the hotel for him. But now he's really mad that we're leaving, so he's going to do anything to keep himself in business, which is he's going to ruthlessly chase us down the outskirts of his hotel, I think. Something like that. Basically, in gameplay, that translates to every so often he'll dash at our vertical position. He'll give us that little lightning bolt that identifies where he's dashing. When it's kind of cycle-based, we can predict where he's going to dash based on how long we've been in the room. So our runners shouldn't have a problem with that. But if they do ever mess up and have to do some improv speedrunning, we can see that coming to play. And as Face goes into the quad hyper room, Sefi is on the last screen of Resort. This is notably a very hard screen because it's very punishing if you die. It's a very long room, and there's also no death cycle strat really. But Sefi here, hard? What is hard? This game's easy. Gets a sub 10 split going to Resort. I don't know if that's good for his PV, but notable nonetheless. And our runners here always seem to be a section apart right now. As Sefi heads into Resort, Face starts the Oshiro fight. Only about a 50-second gap right now. And Sefi's going to show us some cool things in Ridge. Golden Ridge, that is. First, we get to see the grandma again. That's always great. We also have Bubbles, Wind, and Clouds. Bubbles just basically act as an extra dash. They also give us our dash back, so that's cool. You'll see a lot of them here. Oh, that's a really bad death. You hate to see it. But we also have Clouds, which you'll see in the next stage. And these things will, once you step on them, they'll wait a second, and then they'll give you a boost. We also have the Wind here in this map, and the Wind will push you in any direction it so pleases. It's also known for destroying the bitrate and quality of streams, so that's great. Face here struggling a bit with the Oshiro section. It is a very hard section to get used to. These cycles are a little bit ruthless. Sefi, you're going for that spike jump. Ooh, messing that up twice. This is kind of a meme spike jump. It only saves 1 second. So if you do mess it up at least once, you are losing time over taking the block up. Oh, Face bopping Oshiro, showing that man who is boss. Oh, but Oshiro strikes back. That you hate to see that right at the end. Speaking of things I hate to see, auto-scrollers, which is why Sefi there did a nice little skip on that one. Takes a couple of seconds to just do an extended hyper dash rather than waiting for that. Oh, that is not what you want to do there, Sefi. Come on, step it up. Get into that bubble. Will hopefully ground himself that time, taking it slowly. Face Eater took Oshiro quite slowly. Probably a terrible runner, almost as bad as the commentator. But he'll finally be out of Resort and making the race interesting. As Sefi here, entering some of the more wind-focused sections of Golden Ridge. Another auto-scroller for Sefi. Sefi there, taking these cycles patiently. Always better to be safe than sorry. And entering the harsh wind section, otherwise known as the cliff face checkpoint. Here the music is pretty cool, but we also got some very harsh winds, as you can hear from the ambience and the visual effects and all that. These winds will blow your player back, or blow Madeline back so much that it's very hard to move. So we really have to utilize our dashes and our hypers well to gain distance in these screens. Yeah, it's also worth noting too that in this game, if you've never seen a speedrun of it before, most of the time save, not too much of it comes from routing. Most of it comes from good execution and not dying. Sure, there are a lot of good optimizations, I guess would be the way to call them, that save seconds, but there aren't really too many big skips other than search skip, which we'll talk about once our runners are in Chapter 5, but we're a little ways away here. As Sefi is showing us how important not dying is in the cliff face section. Hopefully we'll be finishing up this last screen with ease, dancing around with the bubbles, and finishing off on the Golden Ridge. I guess something noteworthy, since I'm getting tired of normal commentary. Well, I guess I can talk about here in Chapter 5. The new gimmicks are these dash blocks. They have two positions. One position goes into one position when you dash, and one position when you haven't dashed in a while. And we have these red bubbles, which are the green bubbles, but they will just not stop. They will continue going until they hit a wall. That's a bad death, but they will keep going until you hit a wall until you dash out of them. I'm going to take this time to talk about a cool potential route change that we shouldn't see these runners going for, but I know it's very interesting. If you have a Twitter account, or if you know anything about Celeste speedrunning, you'll know of the pause storage glitch found, and because of that, Chapter 5, it's actually faster to go get the cassette and do the B-side. Our runners shouldn't be going for that here because the glitch that makes it worthwhile is banned in the tournament setting currently, and it is a very hard, 5B is a very hard checkpoint to do, but it's very interesting. The cassette would be down from where Sefi just did, so thankfully he will not be breaking the rules right now. Yeah, it's a very interesting discussion. Interesting would be one way to put it, I guess. But thankfully, we can see all of 5A. And Chapter 5 is a pretty cool chapter. It's very spooky, as you can see with all the lighting. And we also get our introduction to Seekers, which we'll see coming up here. Opening up the curtain, where we play as the second playable character. In a little demo here, we get to get introduced to these guys, Seekers. They're just really affectionate guys, and they really want to hug Madeline. And they will hug Madeline at very rapid speeds, so they can actually dash. Whoa, the Sefi here, trying to splice his run, not working out too well. Stream is seeing right through this one. Fortunately though, finding the right clip, found the sub 30 run. Alright, now that we're good with that, Faceeter did finish up Chapter 4, so we'll see them on the same chapter. Here's Unraveling. There's a death, but this is Unraveling. This is the section where we really get to play around with Seekers, and we can see what Seekers can do. The most prominent thing you'll see different from a normal playthrough from a speedrun perspective is that these Seekers are able to activate the lock switches. So we'll see our runners utilize that quite a bit. There's one example right there. The Seeker dashing diagonally through the room. And there's another example of that Seeker hitting the lock switch. But this room right here is pretty important. The room Sefi is in right now is probably the most important room. The most important single room in Temple. Death in this room can cost a lot, but Sefi taking no chances, bopping that Seeker, taking that spring, boinging his way up into Search. And I'm pretty sure during Search you gotta go get 2 keys, use a bubble, something like that. I really wouldn't know though, because other than my casual playthrough, I've never done it like that, because we should see Search Skip coming up here, which an extended reverse dash jump will get you enough distance to clear that gap, as Sefi gracefully showed off. And he'll keep strolling through. And while Faceeter starts unraveling, Sefi will be starting the new portion of Mirror Temple, the last checkpoint, Rescue, otherwise known as the Theo section, because we gotta carry Theo from a crystal. Yeah, Theo's trapped in a crystal, and Madeline, being the weightlifter she is gonna be able to use her Hulk Hogan muscles and escort Theo out of the Mirror Temple. The section is it features quite different movement because the levels themselves are quite simple. However, they're complicated by the fact that, first of all, we have Seekers to deal with, which are always a pain, and second of all, while you're holding Theo, you cannot dash, and those golden doors at the end of every room, and that Sefi really wants to show us, so he's actually dying a lot, but those golden doors at the end of the room will not open unless you have Theo nearby, so you gotta carry Theo. And yeah, you can't dash with Theo, so a lot of times we'll be prepping momentum and then we'll be picking up Theo, because you'll actually be able to like store momentum in a weird property. But it's just a very different style of movement to get used to. Oh, Sefi crushing that Seeker. It's always a very satisfying noise to hear. But as Sefi is almost finishing up Mirror Temple here, we should see a Search Skip from Faceeter. Actually, just not get his dash back there. Madeline, where is Faceeter's dash? Oh, he's really struggling right now. Thankfully, gets to it. And Sefi are in the last room, struggling a bit. This is pretty Monka-esque, but we'll finish off throwing Theo into that giant eye. 20/20 vision on the timer. 6 deaths in his pocket, moving on to Reflection. Now, if you've never played the game before, our goal is to climb the mountain. There's no story. It's just climbing the mountain. Trust me. But the game is pretty cool. You should buy it on Steam. But just to reset on our progress, we were knocked down to the bottom of the mountain, just in a cutscene we skipped. So, yeah, now we gotta kind of do some conflict about climbing the mountain and nothing else, because this game does not have a story. So we're at Reflection. And this chapter features Kevin blocks and feathers. And bumpers, actually. There's a lot of stuff. Those Kevin blocks, you will be able to hit any side of them that's highlighted blue. And once you hit them, they will continue to go that way until they hit a wall or until they are directed in another direction. Hopefully I'm not talking too fast. You also have these feathers. They have omnidirectional movement, so you can move in all 360 degrees. While normally players would opt to play Celeste with a D-pad, movement with these feathers are preferred using the control stick. Or an analog stick, because to have optimal momentum, you only want to change 13 degrees of movement each frame, which is something you cannot do with a D-pad. And as Sefi neutral wall jumps up that a slope, gets that cool Kevin block shot, we should see bumpers coming up in just a hot second here. Bumpers are basically just as you'd expect from straight from a pinball set. They bump you in the direction you came from, and they give you your dash back. As Faceeter here finishes up Mirror Temple. Sefi here, doing some movement in Reflection. And since worth noting, those blocks, their official name is not Kevin blocks, they're called Crush blocks. However, we like to call them Kevin blocks in homage to the man who made the beautiful noise that they make. That kind of noise that I horribly imitated. It's quite a beautiful noise, and the man who made them, it's Kevin from Power Up Audio. It's also very satisfying. If you do own the game, I would recommend booting it up and hitting one of the Kevin blocks into water. Because it makes... there's a different sound effect, I'll tell you that. Sefi there, going for a bumper boost. If you hold away from a bumper, the frame you hit it, you actually do get twice the amount of bump. That's the only room in the game where it's used properly, but... And Sefi not being phased by those moving bumpers. Moving bumpers are a terrible idea, by the way. Shoutouts to Core. Thankfully, it's on the 90% route. All right, quick update. Right now, we're chasing Madeline. She has very long hair, and as you know, when Madeline is not lifting weights or climbing mountains, she's a barber, so we're gonna want to cut that hair, free of charge, of course. But Sefi's struggling on her way. Well, it's Madeline. I don't know Sefi's gender, but struggling on their way to the barber shop here. They're gonna go through 3 ravines there. 2 of them are very easy because they're straight down. However, the third one has a little bit of direction to it, and a death there will send you all the way back up to the top of the room. It's very punishing. And here with this giant Kevin block, you can do a cool boost off of it. Sefi going for a little bit of an easier strat. That's okay. That's okay. We're gonna head into the battle line fight. Battle line fight is pretty cool. It's notable for a couple of things. It has my favorite song in the game, "Confronting Myself," or my favorite A-side theme. It's also known for having a TGH emote and being the Hey Ya song. But the way the fight functions is that every so often we're gonna have to hit Battleline in these rooms to progress. Every time we hit her, she will get a new location, and she will recoil us in the opposite direction and give us our dash back. So you basically have to do that a lot. I don't know what I did there with my voice, but yeah, we're doing that a lot every room. This section isn't too keen on very hard strats. It's mostly just efficient movement and not dying. And Sefi is showing us what it looks like. I was just about to say what it looks like to not die, but thankfully didn't let me commentator's curse in time. As faceeter is finishing up hollows here, heading towards those ravines. Ooh, Sefi's struggling a bit. It's all occurring because I said not die, but don't worry, Sefi, I take full responsibility. Face into the water section. While Sefi is going to be entering the second portion of the Battleline fight. Battleline says we're not a mountain climber, and she's just trying to help us, but she's not helping us get to the top of this mountain, so we're going to smack her a couple of times. During the second part of the fight, she gains telekinetic powers. That'll probably make a good game theory, if you can even find out how that happens. But this really doesn't change up the fight too much. For a casual player, it's a little bit overwhelming. But for us, it's really nothing, because we beat these rooms so fast that she doesn't even have time to fully utilize these moving platforms. And Face is already struggling with the battle line fight, so hopefully he can turn it around real quick, because Sefi does have a nice lead on him. Or her. I need to stop using gender-specific pronouns. It's a struggle commentating, folks. What's also a struggle is this last room that Sefi is in. It's the last room of the Badline fight. It's quite a simple room, but a death can be very punishing. So now that I've commentator's curse, Sefi, let's see him die. Or her. Again, I'm still not good at this, but they're gonna outweigh my expectations. And they're going to successfully live through that room. And they're gonna level up. of course, Celeste, being known for its RPG mechanics. Leveling up does bring your HP from 1 to 1.4. However, based on the game engine, it will actually round down. So we're still stuck at 1 HP. However, that does mean you get a point in your skill set. So you're able to go up the dash skill tree and go from 1 dash to 2 dashes. Which is quite nice. As Sefi finishes up Reflection. They'll be going into Summit, which is the longest and hardest chapter in the game. I just described something long and hard. That's great. Regardless, Sefi's taking a breather, actually. I don't know if he's on some good pace, but his or her PB is a 39:29. They need a 12-minute summit to close it out, which is, I believe, very doable. So we'll see how it goes. The way Summit functions is, again, the longest chapter and the most difficult. This is due to the fact that you have 2 dashes, because if you were bad with 1 dash, good luck being any better with 2. That's great. Noteworthy also is that at Chapter 6, we fell back down to the bottom of the mountain, and our goal is to get to the top. So we're gonna get there, but this time we're a more knowledgeable mountain climber. We have merged with our other half, Battleline. So we're gonna be able to utilize her help and climb this mountain even faster. The summit section is split up into different parts. Each 500-meter section is dedicated to the theming of each previous chapter, not including Chapter 6, because the summit base is technically Chapter 6, but it's no feathers. I don't know. It's weird. But this is 500 meters, the Forsaken City part of the summit. And we get to see those zippers in full glory. Oh, that was a cool wall bounce from Face. I don't know if that was intentional, but he or she will be heading into the... Oh, never mind. They'll be going back to the start of that room, but... I think actually... Oh, did that last round 500 very nicely. I didn't catch that strategy they did, but... And onto 1,000 meters. We get these dream blocks here. An interesting characteristic of these dream blocks. Yeah. An interesting characteristic of these dream blocks. Wow, I'm doing really well today. You can hyper dash out of them. You can also dash into the spikes on the top of them, as demonstrated by Sefi. You can also dash into the walls. That works too, but you can hyper dash out of them. It's kind of a hard thing, so I don't know if we'll see our runners go for it, but... Face there, finishing up the battle line fight. Doing very well. As Sefi is dashing his way through these dream blocks. And on to 1,500. 1,500 meters is often referred to as the hardest section of any percent. This is because it has very ruthless cycles, and some rooms are very punishing. Notably, it has the triple ultra room, where we do 3 ultra dashes. So yeah. And Sefi is actually showing us why 1,500 is so hard. But hopefully we'll be able to recover here, as Face can recover their bearings. Heading on into the summit, chin up, head high. Sefi are into that triple ultra room I was talking about, but going for a little bit of a different strat. No disrespect there, it's a very hard room. Struggling with these springs. But he did take a berry path there, and that berry path is actually faster than the normal, and I guess quote-unquote intended route. The speedrun route will do the exact same thing actually at the start of 2,000. Oh, Sefi! He was very off cycle in that room, so I was seeing that a bit, but yikes, you hate to see it. Fortunately, getting the better of the room the second try. And heading into the Chapter 4 section of Summit. Taking that berry. You gotta make a good pie at the end, right? And that's a snowball. That will hurt you a little bit. Don't know why Madeline's so weak that snowballs will kill her. But, really unfortunate for Sefi. They're getting the shorter end of the stick. We'll see if he goes for auto-scroller skip. Does land it there. A very hard trick in that room. It is essentially an auto-scroller. This room is also an auto-scroller, but the last screen was more significant based on the skip that you can do. Sefi playing calm, cool, and collected. Doing those hyper dashes, doing those wave dashes. Base tier, entering 1000. Missing some lock switches. But progressing quite nicely. As Sefi here should be finishing up 2000. No reason to die here unless you want to throw away your chances. I just love setting up commentators' curses, people. What can I say? And 2,500 meters. This is known after Chapter 5, but it's not quite as spooky, but we still get to see all those dash blocks. You'll see them here. We also get to see red bubbles, and we also get to see some new things. Quite notably, there's a skip in this chapter, or this section, that saves approximately 9 years when timed out correctly. So we'll see how runners do that. But for now, base entering 1,500. Already having a death. Not very good to see. Here's key skip coming out from Sefi. 2 wall jumps. 1, 1, 2, 1. Nope. No, come on, Sefi. Come on. There it is. First try, key skip. Gets that key, retries. Normally you have to go down to the bottom. Sorry, I went close to my mic there. You can go down to the bottom, take a bubble up, but that's kind of slow. So jumping on spikes will do. And Face going for the triple ultra strat. 1, 2, 3. Gets the worst out of that last dust bunny. But speaking of 9 years time save, SefiCompacto. Oh no, Sefi! This is called door skip, and it saves 9 years. Getting it for the 3rd try, of course, very respectable, getting that time save. Door skip really only saving 1 second if done first try, but known as a meme for its difficulty. And Sefi there, doing that last room well. They're both on the same cutscene right now. But Sefi here, 35:10, entering 3,000 meters. This section can take about 3 minutes to finish. However, Sefi's PB is a little more than 3 minutes away, so hopefully we can see that happening here. I really don't like the way I am enunciating certain syllables, but we'll have to deal with it, as Sefi is already choking. Feel free, by the way, in Celeste tradition, counting down the flag numbers. It's always a nice hype thing to do. As Sefi here, barreling through the downdraft section, barreling right into the spikes sometimes, but that's okay. During this downdraft section, your gravity is increased. And since we're climbing upwards most of the time, you really have to utilize those upwards dashes in order to, properly climb at optimal speeds. However, Sefi is no stranger to optimal speeds, as they absolutely destroy Madeline's head on that wall and those spikes. But 3rd tries the charm, as they'll be dashing up and heading into the updraft section of 2,000 meters. Here, gravity is decreased. We're a lot more floatier. And notably right here, this flag, 14 and 13 are these flags to look out for. They're very punishing if you die, and they're not quite too easy either. Sefi, 14 is a go. 13, this is where it starts to get really tense. I've set you up for the perfect commentator's curse. Please don't do it to me. Gets that up dashes, successfully gets on the flag 12. Deep breaths, everybody. Oh, Sefi, trying to avoid that spike. Does get it on that second try. A little sketchy. Face here. Oh, that was a really bad voice crack. Oh my god. Face struggling 2,500, but Sefi quite doing the opposite of struggling, prospering in fact. At the sight of flag 9. Flag 8, don't even need it. Right on to flag 7. And onto that battle line boost. Sefi here taking up a feather. And they'll be going on to the last screen of Celeste here, skipping flag 5. Face Eater got the key skip, but Face Eater isn't quite on the last screen of the game yet, as we see Sefi there going for that feather. Dashing their way onto that spring. Flag number 3. Going for that feather. Looking to avoid those spikes. 2 dashes down, the feather, the back boost. The double. 2 quick ones. Body armor. Wall bounce. Refresh. Flag number 1. Absolutely no care in the world. Sefi, 3840, climbing Celeste Mountain in a new personal best. Big congrats. Well, speaking of 3,000 meters, Face Eater here. Might be out of the race, but he's still not out of the game quite yet. Well, out of the game in terms that he still has to finish it. We'll see how that goes. Should be switching off to his audio just shortly here. So you get to see already off to a better start on the downdraft than Sefi. Not to fire some shots or anything. And doing well so far. Again, his PB is a 40.28. So unless he plans on finishing the next 28 seconds, unless he plans on pulling something a little bit more eventful than pause storage, and that death is quite eventful, but not the way. Faceeter here. Only 2 screens left. These feathers. Working hard. All bouncing his way into the final screen of Celeste. Doing well for himself, taking that feather, narrowly avoiding those spikes. Yikes. And hopefully he'll be narrowly avoiding these ones too. Taking his sweet time. Flag number 2. Climbing up that wall. And using his stamina well. Onto the last flag. Flag number 1. Looking to clean out the run. Struggling a bit with those wall bounces. Has to ground himself. Take some time. A deep breath, in fact. As Faceeter will be completing Celeste in 43 minutes, 2 seconds. Not a terrible showing at all. Sefi there actually picked up 3 strawberries. I don't know where that third one is. I'm thinking, I usually only pick up 2 strawberries in my run, so I'm kind of mad. I want to know where I can get a 3rd strawberry. Regardless. I don't know if any of our runners will join us for an interview, because I'm pretty sure we do have some stuff regarding speed gaming going on soon. Awesome. I guess will be short of an. Gotta take some breaths. You gotta think of the feather sometimes, you know. But that's gonna be this race wrapping up here. Sefi versus Faceeter. SefiCompacto versus Faceeter. Sefi, of course, is taking the victory there with a new PB, brand new PB. That's quite great. I regard, of course, it always here at Speed Gaming. Make sure to follow these runners. Hopefully, we'll continue in their tournament run, doing just fine, and continuing to PB and all that. Make sure if you want, you can follow the commentator too. He or she, a funny meme, is okay at this game. And make sure to follow the Speed Gaming channels. If you're curious about any more whereabouts of the Celeste Any Tournament, you can go type !Celeste in the chat. We have another match in about 3 hours, 4 hours. So you can make sure to check that out. And we have a couple more. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out.